Hello, everyone, and welcome again to my Facebook page. As I did mention, I'll be posting content which is mostly looking at the basic mathematics concepts that we did and we didn't know their importance. So today I'll be looking at the regular distance measure that all of most people did in junior secondary school and didn't know how important that concept was when it comes to machine learning. So that is why you see me title this slide from 2 to ML. So we must have learned, most of us must have studied this distance measure where, we're looking at the distance between two points. But at that time, most of us were looking at it in like, how can we use this? How important is this concept, You know, not until for me, when I started, looking at the applications of machine learning, this distance measure became so important, but, I didn't realize that when I started studying this. Um, so this distance measure, as we will see, started having different definitions in machine learning and how it can be used in many applications. So this distance measure, you see, we call it the Earl-2 norm. For those of us who have done maybe linear algebra in the university, we will know this distance measure. It's used a lot in machine learning, especially when it comes to unsupervised learning techniques. This measure is very important. So as I did mention in the previous slide, we can see, this distance measure now is called, the L2 norm. Regularly, they call it in machine learning the Euclidean distance, which is that distance measure that we started learning in junior secondary school. I started learning this when I was in Form 2, and I didn't know the importance of that. Another one is the L1 measure, which is the Manhattan distance. So most of these distance measures are used to measure the similarity between data points. And we can find these applications a lot when it comes to grouping items together. We might be maybe when you're watching a video on YouTube, you start seeing such videos being recommended to you. All these applications are based on this particular distance measure. So when it comes to like looking at clustering is a technique in machine learning where we tend to group items together. One of the most popular uh, distance measure that is being used to group these items is what we call the L2 norm, which is that distance measure we started learning in junior secondary school. So what it does is that it first starts by calculating the distance between every point and then look at to assign those points that are closer to each other in different groups. So which defines, it is defined in machine learning as what? Similarity. For its real world applications, we have a lot of applications of this clustering where we use this distance measure, like in customer segmentation. We can also use it in product grouping in e-commerce. Also use it in what? Music / movie recommendations, as well as in what? Gene expression. Uh, One of the great ways, again, we can use this distance measure, both the L1 and L2, is in agnomatic dictation. Agnomatic dictation is when you are looking at, um, those points that are a little bit significantly different from the other ones in some particular data set, which helps dictate points that are pretty far away from each other. We find such applications a lot in what? In 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 fraud dictation. Maybe you're trying to look at credit card fraud. Also in network intrusion dictation. Most of these applications are as a result of what? That particular distance measure that we started studying in junior secondary school. As I did mention, we will be looking at most of these applications, relating them to mathematics, but so soon I'll be, going from how to use these applications in real world. We will be looking at different data sets using Python, actually how to implement such techniques. So the key takeaway here is that simple distance formula that we started learning in Form 2 and didn't know the importance, this was is one of the most powerful tools in machine learning, especially when it comes to clustering and what? Agnomatic dictation. So the takeaway, don't forget, is that the math we learned earlier, we shouldn't always think that it's not important, because it has a lot of applications when it comes to intelligent systems. Thank you, everyone. Keep following my page, and you will keep getting more of the applications of mathematics that we learned and we know their importance to intelligent systems of machine learning. Thank you all. Ciao.